Good morning. Welcome to WiseOne's channel. I am your host, Megan. I hope you are doing well. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. I hope you're doing well. I'm going to take a moment to breathe and get grounded and get it, into the space. I was trying to get in the headspace because I was trying to remember what I was going to say because it felt so good. I was like, oh, this is great material for you. And I didn't get up to write it, so now I have to remember what it was. Relax. I'm going to breathe in, I'm going to breathe out, and if it's safe for you to do so, and you desire to, you can join me if you will. It's Sunday, August 20th, 2023. So I'm just going to wear the waxing crescent. So the cup is filling up with lights. We're working on wisdom books. Right now, all I have is just a notebook that I'm reading in.
This controller's not working right, so...
What's not working right?
This controller. On the Switch.
So you did the other one?
Yes. Where's the box? Where's
We're
the
gonna
box?
hold on. We're going to take a moment to pause and assist my youngest. I will be right with you. I apologize. Feel convenienced. Alright. Now you need the controller.
I need the box for this. Of these things. So for the controller. Can I have the box here? And I came here also to charge my cat.
You realize I can't hear a word you're saying? Because I've got this in my good ear. Alright, take it upstairs. I'm doing my video. I am. Just started. Up you go. Thank you. I've been feeling well, so it took me a bit to get going and get started on this. I've been gone for a few weeks on this particular day, but I've been making other videos for the podcast. All right, so let's, with our, those who have ADHD, ADHD. Yeah, it's that simple. So 4 letters. I did say 4 letters. So. All right, wisdom of the mind. Is what we're going to go with today because I can't remember last night's this morning. Write stuff down. Okay. I've gone in today for wisdom of the mind. We're just writing that down. And then we're going to come up with a subtitle. There's lots of things I would like to discuss, but we're going to prioritize things, make it simple, small things that make the biggest effort. We're going to focus positive versus negative, changing perspective. Those are things that I would like to talk about, and I'm thinking we should just pick one, discuss it. It's an element in a much larger picture. So, focus. We're going into focus, perspective, perspective. I don't know how to spell perspective, apparently. I have to look that up. Okay. So when we have a busy mind, like ADHD, or we're just having trouble focusing, a lot could be our health, what we eat. Needing to exercise can help bring our ability to focus. Mind works, trying to get my mind to work with focus. Prioritizing a goal and keeping that goal within your whole daily tasks. So picking a goal in the morning, overall goal, like wanting to be happy. My biggest goal that I've picked is to ascend, to see if I can get spiritual, ascension is this goal. I've yet to find out if it's something attainable, but I'm pretty sure it's attainable. But I haven't seen proof of it. I've just heard of it. And people with faith are like, oh my gosh, if, Jesus ascended. He's probably not the only one to ascend. And keeping that goal in mind, that direction in mind from our higher selves is like, oh, this is something that I want. Oh, that sounds cool. If it aligns with you, and that's something you want to pursue, keeping that in mind can help focus or direct the energy that you have, even if it's not, oh, I know exactly, and this is what I'm going to do. It could be wishy-washy around because we have this duality, and it's okay to have a duality where you want two of the most opposite things in the whole entire world that don't seem to fit or complement each other. And your yin and yang seems to flip constantly, twirling around, never settling, never focusing. And you could use some balance. Sometimes it helps to eat the stuff that you need for balance, the right vitamins, minerals, balancing out your salts and your water. Sometimes it's just keeping in mind what you want. So ascending, understanding myself, the higher power, understanding that there is a higher power, the great divine for me, and then understanding that I have divinity and recognizing the divinity in you and recognizing the divinity that we have in our connection to each other and the divinity that is the connection to the earth. So I have this divinity with this connection with everybody that you have, including the people that you don't like and wish you, sever ties with, if you've severed ties with or severed the connection with. there's a great divinity, and finding balance and, letting go of something that is anchoring you in an unhealthy way. But finding an anchor, and you feel like you're going to never stop. It's scary. It's very scary. So finding your anchor, your focus, your direction takes perspective, takes inward perspective sometimes, outward perspective, depending on you as a person, knowing yourself. And sometimes, if you're not familiar with who you are and doing your shadow work and doing your self-discovery and identifying, that's been the odd one too, is identifications. My subconscious and my consciousness have brought to my attention, consumed me, my thoughts with identification. It's been a very big identification. Is this big thing for me. This small thing for you maybe, but for me it's got a big impact. Identification seems to be very prominent in what I understand about my social cell and social circles and social organism. In fact, we're a social organism that takes care of this planet. And whether or not we're doing a good job, who knows? But doesn't feel like it. So perspective, putting things into the perspective that we want to achieve a prioritized goal. Prioritized goal helps bring things into focus and perspective. I want this and this and this and this and this. Sometimes if you go further out, like a broader goal, sometimes it can help you narrow down, well, in order to achieve that, I need this, and I want to ascend, I need to practice educating myself towards enlightenment. I need to practice enlightenment. I need to practice being one with myself, finding nirvana, these things that take a great deal of discipline, and I currently have none. So for me, I need to find a self-discipline. So you're going to have a prioritized goal and knowing that this is what I want, so this is what I'm going to go. I mean, what if you want 101 things? And those things will be there for you. If you write them down, it's best you can write them on, or put it down, get it down. Lots and lots of stuff. Find one that maybe has the common denominator, like art. I want to draw, but I want to color, but I want to, do this thing where I could sing songs and do, this where I want to, make money, but so that I can live. But at the same time, I want to be free to travel and paint the stars and travel and paint, and I want to do clay work. And so if you want to move towards art, textiles, or just colors and things like that, it's a good thing to study what you don't have or figure out what you don't have towards attaining it, or figuring out what you have and utilizing it. So, if I want to move towards spiritual, and for me, I don't care what other people think about ascending. I'm not trying to ascend them, I'm trying to ascend me. It is not hurting my loved ones, it's not hurting my circle to try to ascend. So I'm going to keep doing it. So you check your balances and you move towards that. And if you're understanding as much as you can about it and perceive, check your perspective that are your negative thoughts getting in the way? Are they being unhealthy? I mean, negative thoughts probably had a place in time and making sure that you were realistic so that it's far more attainable. But if it's getting to the point that it's harming you, where it gets you away from your goal, moving away from harmful thoughts can help you towards your goal. The biggest thing that I've noticed additionally is that people have tendencies to do certain patterns of behavior. Like, what are these patterns for? What's the point of them? Why do they exist? Where are they becoming unhealthy? And why would it do that in the first place? Sort of like albino redwoods. Like, my gosh, it's killing all the other trees because it's taking up all the water. So they thought it was toxic, but it existed for a very special purpose, which was to take as much of the resources as possible that were full of heavy metals and pollutants. So it's cleaning, it's taking up all that because it needs to take up the heavy metals and the pollutants that prevent other redwoods from growing. You can't really put the seed. I guess it just grows one when there's heavy metals. I would love to take, because I know where people have set cars and stuff. I feel like I'd love to just take a redwood like that and just grow one of those. Because it's not photosizing as well as the other redwoods, so it's taking up more water in order to do the growing. And so it's taking up with that water, it's taking up all the stuff. So there's a point and a reason that things happen. The thing is, if you can look at those things that are happening, I feel like we can't fathom other stuff that exists out there that don't exist where we are. Like, I feel like that's a random thought. It had connections. I have been losing my train of thought lately. Okay, but if we prioritize what we want and then check the perspective of taking it and filtering it through and looking at what we want, does it get us towards our goal? And what was the point of the healthy and the unhealthy thought? Equally look at perspective with an objective perspective and run it again and again and again and again and again. So if you prioritize your goal, for us, we're going to say to ascend. Ascend. Okay. That's our goal. Or that's my goal. Doesn't have to be your goal. So we're going to look at that, and then we're going to run our, or check, run by or check our thoughts. I'm feeling, because we are feeling creatures. Through more than one perspective. Multiple. I'm spelling horribly. Multiple perspectives and compare. Compare. See if it works towards the goal. See if the goal is, if it's valid to the goal. And compare to see if it's valid towards the goal. We're going to use our intellect our intellect. Whenever possible, or to use our emotional intellect. For those who have, what is it? So if we need focus, but our focus is all over the place, we're going to look at our general goal, and then we can build our smaller goals with that. Recognizing what it pertains to our everyday life. Sorry, I got a really good serving last night about 12 o'clock. And it's just, God. Hopefully this works, because I understand that we can feel wibbly wobbly, flippy floppy about goals. The cutest little tiny, that little sucker is tiny, but sit fast. It's faster than blink of an eye. So, does our actions meet our goals? And work towards it and work towards a lot of it. So if you're sitting there making the money, ask yourself, did you start making the money for the family? And now you don't see your family, work with family, get to know your family, or interact with your family, and your family don't benefit from it? I'm talking about like people who aren't immigrants, who aren't like helping the family, because they are depending on you, and you can't just cut them off without consequences. I mean, you can, but there's going to be consequences, and yeah, how would you feel if you were suddenly cut off? Like, oh, I'm gonna make you money, and they go, and you don't see a single cent. How would you feel? Yeah. So perspective, put it in lots of perspectives. Perspective of different religions would be this ascending. So spiritually, different spiritual leadings. This is ascending. The Great Divine. This is what the Great Divine has for us all. Believe, if we work these puzzle pieces and we work these puzzle pieces together, that we are all part of the same organism, and that our higher selves work for us and we work for our higher selves equally. Ascending as our game changer. 4B. So, moving towards ascending. I have lapsed. I'm not going to beat myself up for lapsing. Lapsing is something that is human nature. We all do it, and especially in goals. Thing is, I'm not making linear progress. Slowly, building up, building up, building up, and that's okay. Accepting that, as difficult as it was, that I can't track progress, I do understand that I have made progress. If I get rid of that guilt and shame that I haven't made progress because I'm back here at square point 0001 instead of down to 0, I'm not only, back down to 0, but I've fallen behind. I've made the opposite of progress. I feel like I've buried my progress. Understand that has its pros and its cons. And that's, if I take a look at the pros, or it gives me a perspective, is the goal that I'm going for really worth going for? I believe it is. So I'm going to keep trying towards getting that goal. And it feels, for lack of a better description, it just feels better. I like it. As I move towards it, it feels right. It does the click thing. It just clicks for me. It's just what I want. It's here. Yeah, I'm in the state of here. My life could improve and go bad, but I've been like, philosophically, I'm working towards the goal of ascension. It should work, shouldn't it? I get tired. I got, where if I may have celiacs, where I have issues with eating gluten, and I just gorged out on gluten. So I can really assess that I do have an issue with the way I eat. If I eat the food that doesn't make me feel good, it really does. I don't feel good. So can I move towards not eating it, where I eat less and less of it? Do I start to feel better and better, have more energy, have more mental clarity? Yes. That's what I work towards. So next, I want to organize what I'm focusing on. So organizing the things that stop me from being able to just work on this ascension. This everyday thing. Trying to make it as real or as attainable or as something tangible or it's real. There's a science towards, the weight of your body when your soul leaves. What is your soul made up of? What happens to your soul? Fuck it, leaving. So I'm not upset about death. I mean, if you can settle how you leave. So if you leave unexpectedly in a tragic manner, sometimes spirits and souls be like, I can't come back and reincarnate until that thing that prevented me from moving on, that was not of my work. Like, oh, I need to make sure my children find that transcript before I leave so that my best writing can get out there that I never had the gulls to publish. And then the soul goes to peace. Or that person murdered me, and that kind of murder is wrong for my soul and unhealthy. I need to get that murderer caught so that they can have consequences, so that other people are less likely to commit that murder. And so when I reincarnate, I can be safe from that type of demise and work towards my ascension. So if we are coming back, and then ascending, we're the same soul that always has different perspectives. It's not so much the ideas, and we have these different aspects of our lives, and I believe D&D takes those and transforms those like protective gears into protecting that essence of who we are. I don't want you to lose who you are when you're protecting who you are with a different identity. Oh, yeah, I was talking about identity and how important it is in our culture and our social norms and our social standing and our social circles that I have been involved in. Um, yeah, I have this essence and this sense of telling that feels that it needs to be shared with the world. It needs to be there. It needs to be written. It needs to be recorded. It needs to be shared. That if you speak about a person, you talk about the identifiers first, and then you talk about the other stuff. So unless the person's whole identity, whole aspect, whole life, I mean, from the moment they get up to the moment they go to bed, they're into coffee and into their addiction of coffee. If you introduce, oh, here's my coffee addict friend, say Jojo, because it's a cute name, that person's perceived the filter in which they are presenting, the filter that they are perceived, and the way that our mind works is that person is only about coffee, only about the addiction to coffee, and that person is only friend before they become so and so. And as we grow, we may shed certain identities or we may put on certain identities, but the perspective of the way that we're perceived with our identities, I'm autistic, or I'm a person, I'm so and so, I'm Lady Karen, and I have autism, I'm autistically designed. I'm Karen, who is autistically designed. I'm an artist. I'm just an artist. I'm artistic. I'm autistic. I identify, and I've been on a deal where autism and the parts of the spectrum that I am on have been pretty prominent. Have been pretty intense and ideal for me. It's like, oh my gosh, this is where I fit. If I have a puzzle piece, this is instead of this morphing goo where I'm just trying to fit into society and have society fit for me. And I'm trying to accommodate for society and trying to have a society accommodate for me. Autism feels like it has my identity, but the thing is, there's so much more to me. I'm a complex, multidimensional, living entity, a breathing person. So if I want to be perceived and I want to present, because there's that yin and yang of relationship, there's that balance and that connection with each other and that divinity that we have and that connection for each other that we have. How am I presenting? How are you perceiving? And how am I perceiving the presentation being received? So it gets complex and deep, but you don't have to look deeply into the complexion. So understanding that I have autism, that I am I first, that I'm a person first. That way, for me, it's the best healthy presentation. Hi, I'm Karen. I have autism and ADHD. This is Claude. He's my fiance. Claude. If I figure out how to edit that, don't kill me. He's never going to see this. There's a bazillion Claudes. clouds. There's a bazillion people out there. So, yes, I need to edit that. All right, so if I present, this is Cloud. He's my fiancé. This is so-and-so. They're my kids. Instead of this is my kid, da 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 da. This is their name. They'll only be perceived as a kid. And as much as that has pros and cons, it also has its limits that may hinder their growth and their ability to interact in that full connection. It may not give you like the full bandwidth of available connection with somebody, as in giving them their identifying markers first, and then the things that help you associate. So having a perspective and then having a focus on a person's identity or what they're trying to achieve, or I'm a messy person, and your mess is going to come first. Or I'm a person with messy tendencies. The messy tendencies can come and go. They're free to come and go. But when you put that identity first, it's very hard for our subconscious that have learned to help us navigate life. Whether we do it well or not well, we do it well for the way that our subconscious navigates, and our conscious decides, this is where I'm driving to. Your subconscious sometimes develops the road. Makes your perception. So change your perspective and present your identity first. Present others' identity first and then the identifying markers. I don't know if that matched the previous conversation, but it's a good conclusion to the previous. So, buttons. So, wheat. Anyways, that's what we're going to do with is it's a practice that could change your life if you're not already doing it. Whereas you put somebody's identity first, and then the markers or the associations. So if I put, and when you're moving through, you have all these wonderful things, and there should be room for all these wonderful things somewhere. If there's not, you'll eventually get rid of it when you're comfortable with getting rid of it, or you feel it's time, or you're occasionally people have forced people to do things. Grab a hold of you and your priority, then look at it from several different perspectives, and then put it in your perspective. Say, I want to ascend. So my goals are to ascend, and so what I'm going to do is work towards ascending. So I want to do da 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 da, and the ones that work towards ascending come first, and those will follow. Those other ones will follow. Art will follow. Philosophy will follow. Having control of thyself, which control is an illusion. So having a practice or a type of discipline of what we do or do not do, or a way, will come first. And then in that practice, the things that help me towards ascension and help me be me will follow. So if you're like, I need to do da 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 and be da 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 da, I need to make money, I need to prioritize as a parent, and I need to work on say they're into art, or I need to be the best mom I can be, I need to be the best hard worker, and I need to be the best something else. So the thing is, what is their personal priority? I hate to but equally, a kid could be your top priority. A kid doesn't have to be your top priority, and the kid can still benefit, and the kid's life can benefit if you make your life about something else. The I realized the Americanized, the United States types of type of unspoken social norms say that you have to prioritize a kid if you have a kid. So I'm like, the thing is, if you're into living your life, living your dream, being a parent, if being the best parent is that, then you will find making money at being a parent, helping tips and tricks for other parents. There's lots of things that parenting can do. You can open up, if you're into baking, can open up a restaurant that helps kids and it makes money, and you do it so that you can spend the best time with the kids. This is a very positive way of being. If parenting is your thing, you raise your child in your cute little restaurant setting so that they can flourish as learning to run a restaurant, and they might like running a restaurant and inherit and choose to do it because they find that that's their passion too. That's one out of a spectrum of things that could occur from prioritizing being a parent. But if you're prioritizing being a parent, making the most money, and being the best human being you can be, and you don't align with being a parent, but you align with being a human being, those three things, if you're trying to juggle those three things, you're going to drop the ball. But if you focus on the one that you just tossed, being able to catch it, you will secondary response will be get rid of the ball that's in your hand, grab the ball. So if you focus on one ball at a time as you're juggling all three balls, the other three balls will do what they're supposed to do. You'll do that with the ball. If you focus on the one juggling, or you focus on the one thing, it'll turn out. The rest will follow. So if you turn out where being the best you, being a parent will start to come. Because, sorry, people have been having kids for as long as there have been human population. And you don't have to cultivate everything about kid stuff. Kids can learn. I mean, I wouldn't say go out of your way to do stuff that, isn't for kids. And be like, oh, the kid will be fine. No, that's because I know me, like taking things to controversial terms or to push things. But I am saying, perspectively, if you take and do what you love, the rest will follow. So if you focus on the one, it'll be easier to do the rest. So if you focus on ascending, the other parts of their life that you want to do will fall into place. So if you want to work on cooking, or you want to work on art, or you want to work on language, pick the one that is your favorite, and then the others will follow. That may or may not be helpful depending on what it was that you needed help with. I am going to let you guys go for now. Thank you so much for watching the video. Your likes, your subscribes, comments on what it is that you want to prioritize, what you want to do, what would you like for more videos and content when it comes to talking about the spiritual stuff. Yeah. I love you guys. Big hugs. Love you. I love you all. Until next we meet, have a good one.